Um, then prioritize the objectives and associate a real base. Okay, so when we are talking, for example, about prices, it could be a real base. What is the minimum acceptable level as a seller? Okay, I'm going to aim for 4 million, but my minimum base is actually 3.4. So that you're going to create a space where you say, okay, this is the price that I aim for, and this is the price that I really need to have in order to sell this car. So that is the base price. And you need that because you will, if you don't have it, then you could easily shoot through that price while you're negotiating. So you're gonna also write that down and put it on the table. I think I was still with the previous slide, 23. Yeah. Another thing I skipped one point. That is when you are looking for things that are not of high value to you and that are probably of high value to the other side. You're going to put as many things as possible on the table, because obviously if there are things that are not important to you and you think are important to the other side, the more you have, the more value you can create. So in a negotiation process, basically, if you are trying to engage in win-win negotiation, then what you are going to do is that you're going to exchange as many low value items for you for high you're going to give that low value items to the other side in exchange for high value items for your side that are not important to their side. So by doing that, by exchanging that, so the more you have, the more value you can create. So in the initial stages of negotiation, it is very beneficial to actually look for win-win solutions, because by doing that, by every exchange you can make, you're increasing the value for both sides. So you put more money on the table, basically more value on the table. So a good negotiator, a good professional negotiators will engage with each other and try to figure out, okay, what is important to them? What can I offer to them that they would appreciate in exchange for something that is important to me? And by doing that, you are increasing value. But once you have maximized the value, you will be able to, then you will need to change your negotiation strategy and say, okay, so we have all this value here. Now who's going to take it? Who's going to take it off the table? So then the next stage will be that you are actually going to get more in a win-lose negotiation and say, okay, so we created all this value. Now I'm going to get as much as I can. Later on in the workshop, I will show you how that works. No, sorry, can you go back? Right. Okay, so then you're going to set for all the elements you're going to put in the negotiation. You're going to set real base and say, okay, so this is what I really need, and this is what I want. And also, okay, of all the things that are important to me, quality is number one. If the quality doesn't meet a minimum standard, I cannot use their product, for example. So you're going to say, okay, number one is quality, and I need to have this. Number two is quantity, because without this quantity, it doesn't make sense to even start doing business. And then number three is delivery conditions. When do I need to? When will I get the goods? Is number three, and then number four is price. So in that case, you will be more easily prepared to make concessions on the price, as long as you get your the quality that you need, the quantity that you need, and the delivery conditions that you need. So that is also something you're going to put to paper, and then you start to negotiate, looking for which objectives do we have in common, which things that we both want. This is the kind of collaborative negotiation that we talked about. Most professional negotiators European negotiators will be collaborative negotiators, unless there is a very clear power imbalance. So try to look for common ground, try to look for things that you have in common, that you can start a negotiation from, and then step by step start to create more value by exchanging, giving something and taking something in return. So do you understand this idea about exchanging high value items for low value items? So in the case of raw materials, for example, I could say, okay, for me as a buyer, delivery, quantity, and quality are most important, more important than price. Then in that case, if we discover that from each other, the supplier and the buyer, then we can actually work on a deal that focuses on my interests, and where I can actually be more accommodating in terms of price, which could be very good news for the seller.
And many cases, customer will not tell us their value, true value. So this is very difficult to get what is their value. So we just only can guess that is their most important value, but in many cases it's not clear they will want to tell us, right?
Well, it's not always the case, because sometimes it is in the interest of both. Actually, usually it's in the interest of both parties if they both play open card. Right? It's just like the prisoner's dilemma. It's the outcome of the of that game is that it's best if the shared interest is best served if both sides are honest and open.